Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Good afternoon on the national news this hour from Babagbagide Imo Television. First day headlines. PDP Atiku making libelous allegations against Tinubu presidency. Election petitions, Nigeria judiciary now cash and carry, Atiku. Western liberal democracy has failed Africa, ex-president Obasanjo. Appeal court rejects Ondo Assembly's request on deputy governor. On sports, NFF draws up three-man shortlist as possible replacement for Super Eagles head coach Jose Peseiro. I am Morire Rebila Lawa. The presidency has accused the opposition People's Democratic Party PDP and its presidential candidate Alhaji Atiku Abubakar of making libelous allegations against President Bola Tinubu. In a press release issued by a special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Ononuga, on Monday said the opposition threw caution to the winds by assaulting the integrity of the judiciary and making wild and libelous allegations against Tinubu. He wrote, in the wake of the poor run of some elected governors of the party at the appeal court, the PDP and former vice president and his spokesman have become overtly desperate to anger woes against President Tinubu and the judiciary, an important arm of government in Nigeria. In blaming others, Atiku and his party have failed to demonstrate whether they had done any soul searching before going public with their weighty, specious, reckless, and irresponsible allegations. Why would the North all drift for the judiciary? We urge Nigerians to countenance the malicious allegations by the PDP and its candidate that President Tinubu, as governor of Lagos, silenced the opposition and corrupted the judiciary, and that he is planning to force a one-party state on the country by appointing loyalists as resident electoral commissioners. President Tinubu is a Democrat to the core, will make bold to say that as president, he has not interfered with the judgment of the judiciary. We had witnessed how, under his watch, the PDP governor in Osun State defeated the APC at the Supreme Court. Similarly, the PDP governor in Bauchi also won his case in the appeal court, beating the APC. President Tinubu is also not planning to impose a one-party state, as Atiku has serially alleged, and his party and spokesman have now parroted. Moving on to the next story. Former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has regretted that the All Progressive Congress APC has turned the Nigerian judiciary into a cash and carry one, where, according to him, politicians who don't participate in primaries are named as candidates, while actual winners of elections are sacked for flimsy reasons. Atiku, in a statement issued by his media advisor, Paul Ibe, said the nation's judiciary delivers judgment but not justice. He added that some pronouncements of the judiciary in the election petitions before it are ominous signs that threaten Nigeria's democracy, and said that it was evidence that the democracy in the country has been compromised. Atiku, in a statement signed by his media advisor Paul Ibe, added that all the states where the court made controversial declarations are states controlled by the opposition political parties. From Kano, Zamfara, and now Plateau State, where we are witnessing a situation in which what the ruling party missed out on election day is being delivered to them through the court, he added. The former vice president stated that the ideal notion of democracy does not just reside in a representative government, but is rooted in the plurality of ideas, adding that for a system to be seen as truly democratic, it must accommodate opposition and opposing views. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo says Western liberal democracy has not been a system of government in Africa because it was forced on the continent by the colonialists. He made the assertion in Abeokuta, Ogun State capital, while delivering a keynote address at an high-level consultation on rethinking Western liberal democracy for Africa, held at the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library in the state capital. The event attracted former governors Dr. Kayode Fayemi Ekiti, Sule Lamido Jigawa, Leah Limoke Cross River, and Olagosoye Oyinola Osun, as well as former Minister of State for Defense, Olusola Obada, among other distinguished personalities. The former president said the Western style of democracy failed in Africa because it does not take into cognizance the view of the majority of the people. He noted that Western liberal democracy is a government of a new people over all the people or population, and these few people are representatives of only some of the people and not full representative of all the people. Obasanjo advocated what he termed Afro-centered democracy in place of Western liberal democracy. According to him, African countries have no business operating a system of government which they did not have hand in its definition and design. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has dismissed the application by Ondo State House of Assembly and its Speaker for an order hastening the hearing of its appeal, seeking to overturn the order by a Federal High Court in Abuja altering the planned impeachment of Deputy Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa. In a ruling yesterday, a three-member panel of the Appellate Court held out a House of Assembly's application for an order to abridge the time for the hearing of its appeal was without merit. The court held that the applicant failed to show exemptions circumstances to warrant the grant of such an application. The Assembly had on October 20th filed the application to abridge the time for the respondent to file their briefs. It equally filed another application to extend time to compile and transmit the record of appeal. During a hearing in the case on November 3rd, Aiyedatiwa's lawyer, Ebu Olu Adegboruwa San, faltered the application to extend time to compel a round. Adegboruwa argued, among others, that the court's rules do not permit the appellant to seek extension of time on behalf of the court's registrar, whose duty is originally to compile the record. He added that an option for the appellant was to, on their own, proceed to compile the record. Moving on to the north, the Adamawa State Police Command on November 9 arrested a 30-year-old man identified as Usman Inusa for making an act with Ogal Dinko Nasarawo at Mayo Belwa local government area of the state. The father of the victim, Adamu Ahmed, had visited the police station to report the case. Acting on the report, the State Commissioner of Police, CP Afolabi Babatola, ordered an investigation into the action. The state's detective swung into action and eventually arrested the suspect, who is said to be a close family member. Investigation further reveals that the suspect is an alleged known thief of domestic animals in Nasarawa Diko. The suspect is now in police custody and will soon be arraigned in court. The police in Edo State have arrested a suspected kidnapper, James Imelai, 35, while he was trying to buy food for his gang members and kidnapped victims. Imelai was arrested over the alleged kidnapping of one Lillian of Fosare at the Ikara Primary School or local community near Benin. The suspected kidnapper said he joined his friends for the operation because he needed money to repair his faulty Motsu saw. He said, "We went to school and met our teacher. We waited as she was going home. We were laid out with a double barrel and two quarter-sized guns. Thereafter, we trekked through a bush path to Olobo River and used a boat to carry her to a hideout and started demanding 5 million naira from our parent." He said he was arrested to about 8 p.m. by soldiers and vigilantes when he came out to buy food for the victim and his accomplices. The command spokesperson, Chidi Nwabuzo, said the suspect was arrested through credible intelligence. Lastly, on sports. The Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, has drawn up a 3-man shortlist as possible replacement for coach of the senior national team of Nigeria, Yusuf Pesero, who is linked with the move to Egyptian side Zamalek. Pesero hasn't had the best of time as coach of the senior national team of Nigeria, and with 2 draws in the first 2 games of the 2026 World Cup qualifiers against Lesotho and Zimbabwe, respectively. The pressure is on the NFF to replace the coach immediately. His short-term deal will expire after the Africa Cup of Nations in February next year, but he is already looking at other opportunities which could see him leave his role with the Nigeria before the tournament next year. Better still, immediately after the tournament, although there is an option of extending his contract if he takes the team to the final. Egyptian side Zamalek confirmed talks with the Portuguese on taking over as their coach, and it has pushed the NFF into making plans of their own in the event of his departure. 3 names have been penciled down, and it includes a present coach of an African side who has twice failed in his bid to be the coach of the Super Eagles. A Nigerian coach working towards is almost among the names shortlisted. We gathered that all 3 coaches have been contacted already by the NFF, but a decision on appointing them will only be reached in the event that Peseiro quits his role as a football house can't afford to pay the penalty that will come with his dismissal. With the sports story, we've come to the end of today's national news. Before we go, some headlines. PDP Atiku making libelous allegations against Tinubu presidency. Nigeria judiciary now cash and carry, Atiku claims. Western liberal democracy has failed in Africa, Obasanjo. Appeal court rejects Ondo Assembly's request on deputy governor. On sport, NFF draws up 3-man shortlist as possible replacement for Super Eagles head coach Joseph Peseiro. For updates of our broadcast on YouTube, our handle is Baba Gbagede Imo Television. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. Select option all to access all of our broadcasts. On Facebook, Gbagede Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. For advert placement of goods and services, coverage of events and function, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen. Thank you for watching. I am Morire Babila Lawa. Good afternoon.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.